Welcome to Badminton Weekly with me, Jasmine Lim. It has been a fantastic season so far at the HSBC BWF World Tour, filled with thrilling duels and historic moments across the 13 events. An Se-young, Seo Seong-jae and Kim Won-ho, who recently collected their third Super 1000 in Jakarta, are now just one win away from securing all 4 titles in a calendar year. Thom Duquel and Delphine Delroux made history by becoming the first French players to win a Super 1000 title. With so many impressive achievements on the tour, our resident experts discuss their most improved and standout performers.
The most impressive improved player so far? That's actually a tricky question, because in my books, not skill-wise, but maybe mentally-wise, which is even harder to do on a high level, my personal pick is Fang Yang-tse. We all know he has been struggling maybe a little bit with his emotions on court to be consistent with the pressure playing with Wang Dongping, who is undoubtedly one of the greatest players we ever had in mixed doubles. And we all thought in the beginning of the year, when the Chinese announced they were doing the swap, that it would have been good for Wang Dongping and Yang Sengbang. But looking at the results from that moment on, Fang Yang-tse actually won tournaments with different partners, and now he's done it again with Wang Dongping. And I think that is a huge compliment to him, showing that he's grown mentally in his game. It looks like he's more comfortable on court. He doesn't look as shaky as he was in the past. So the Chinese has been doing the swap really good for him, because I think it actually helped his confidence and it actually helped him believing a little bit more in himself, and I think that's what we have been seeing in the past few months. So my improved player is Fang Yang-tse, and then the most improved mentally, which is, in my books, one of the toughest things to do.
I'm picking Kunlavut Virisan from Thailand as the best performing men's singles player for 2025. He's been great this year. So far, he's won 3 World Tour titles, including the Thailand Open just earlier this month. And he also won the Asian Championships 2025 just in April as well. His ranking actually rose from number 5 to number 2 since the beginning of January. That's his world ranking. And then his world tour ranking actually jumped from 19 to 3. So I think that really shows how consistently he has been playing this year at the world tour events. And because of these reasons, I think that Kunlavut really stands out as the best performing men's singles player for this year. And I really can't wait to see what he can achieve in the remainder of the year.
One of my most improved players, it's hard to say that she's a most improved player, but I think the circumstance that she found herself in has required a comeback of sorts. And I've just got the highest respect for how Chen Yufei has conducted herself in the first part of this year. I think what she's done has been quite special and quite unique, perhaps maybe in the Chinese badminton culture. I think it took a lot for her to recognise what she needed after Paris, and to take that time away in badminton, and for her to come back and perform how she has, I think nothing short of remarkable and incredible. I played against her in Swiss Open, and just the quality that she's managed to turn to is unbelievable. And she's had an unbelievable run in the last 5 tournaments, so she deserves a little shout out for how she's conducted herself in the start of this 2025, and I think it will speak to how she goes on for the rest of the year with a bit more freshness and a bit more lightness to her play.
Iwanaga and Nakanishi are the pair that stand out to me, apart from Pearly and Tina. More because they've been a relatively new pair, they haven't been on tour for a long time. And I've seen the steady rise in their game and how they've been getting better and getting better. Their graph's going upwards. They're currently ranked number 5 in the world. But they haven't had too many big wins yet, but they are there at the top, getting to the finals. And their game is getting stronger steadily, match after match, tournament after tournament. So to me, that is a pair to look out for, because Japan's had a lot of women's doubles pairs, and they also have currently a new lot of women's doubles pairs coming up, and this pair stands out to me.
Sadly, Rin Iwanaga and Kie Nakanishi will not be defending their Yonex US Open and Canada Open titles over these 2 weeks. Despite the absence of the Japanese stars and other prominent players in the Super 300 events, Peter Gator explains why the North American leg remains significant for certain competitors.
Obviously, I think that Northern America, both US and Canada, are quite important areas for the next steps for global badminton. It's really, really important because we have a lot of potential in these countries. We have a lot of young players that are focusing on badminton and trying to make this a priority, a way of career living. And it's not easy because the structure is not like in Denmark or like in some of the Asian countries where you have a structure that's been going on for many years for badminton. So this is still a new culture forming. And I think it's really important that these two countries will be part of badminton in the future, and we will have top 10 players, top 5 players coming into US and Canada. It's really a lot about priority for the players, and I think you will have this second tier group who will have a big priority of doing good results in US and Canada, and you will have players that are aiming for World Championships in Paris, who may have a different agenda. A few may take part, but you will also see that a large part of the best players, they will prepare for Japan and China and then the Worlds. And then from a European point of view, you have the second tier players that are definitely looking to go far, possibly in semi-final or final. They're trying to do some big results here, gaining points on the world ranking, but also making a mark of themselves, because there are not that many tournaments at present where they can do this. So for the second tier group of players, I think this is two really important tournaments coming up.
One of the challenges awaiting the players competing in the North America Tour will be the court conditions, particularly at the Yonex Canada Open. Markham is the host city for this year's Super 300 event, and according to Kirsty Gilmer, the altitude can be quite tricky for some players.
We talk a lot about shuttles, we talk a lot about drift. One thing we don't really talk about very often, but can be a huge factor, is the altitude. And there's over 1,000 meters in difference between the altitude of Calgary and Toronto, where at least the Canada Open used to be played and where it'll be played this year. And in my personal experience, I've played in Calgary and the shuttles fly so fast. It's going to be very, very different for the players playing Canada Open this year. One of my most memorable moments from having altitude was playing the Mexican Open in 2015 when I was qualifying for the Rio Olympics, and it was in Mexico City. And you know when you test the shuttles and it's supposed to land kind of between the doubles service line at the back? We tested a normal shuttle and it went 4 or 5 meters out the back of the court. The shuttles behave so different at altitude, and Mexico City I think was 1,250 meters above sea level. So altitude's going to make a big difference to the conditions of the Canada Open in particular. I think just because of the heat of America, I assume the aircon will be on quite strong, so I would anticipate windy conditions at the US Open also. I think the type of players that works well for is kind of more the runner players that play a bit safer, that don't take as many big risks with their shots. Kind of more the counter players. I think the attacking players might find it difficult to get that mixture of speed and control and risk in their shot. So I think this is going to benefit more running type players. If I think about women's singles, I think Okuhara might do quite well. I think Wenqi Xu could do quite well. And I think the kind of more attacking players are going to have a harder time controlling those conditions. I think actually one of the biggest challenges is to keep your mind focused on the tournament and not get too carried away with, certainly when the Canada Open has previously been in Calgary, it's when the Stampede Festival is on, so it's just everyone's dressed in cowboy hats and cowboy boots. I think to try and keep your head in the game and not get too distracted by the noise going on around and the buzz of Canada and America is one of the hardest parts, to be honest.
There's little rest for Chou Tien Chen, who has participated in 10 out of 13 HSBC BWF World Tour events, including the TotalEnergies BWF Sudirman Cup this year. The Chinese Taipei star nearly claimed his first title of 2025 on 2 occasions and is hoping to be third time lucky as the #1 seed at the Yonex US Open. The 35-year-old also believes that staying focused will be key to his success.
Hi, I'm Chou Tien Chen from Chinese Taipei.
And he finishes it emphatically. Chou Tien Chen, victorious.
I pray to God and hopefully today I can play the best performance because win or lose, everyone prepare well. If I play best performance, however I win or lose, I can really enjoy the game and play my attitude here, spirit here, so let's give my all on the court. Actually, it's before I come to the court. In the room or before come to the court, I pray already. So come here, just concentrate to prepare the warm-up and focus what will happening on the court. So that's all. Yeah. I think I just very focused. I don't want anything to bother me. To focus on the badminton, focus on the game, and focus on every details, and really enjoy that. Because if I don't prepare for the details, maybe I'm not very focused on court. I feel I'm missing something. So the best way to play is I prepare a lot of detail. I think I control my patience and the spirit, I think is my biggest and greatest and the best on the court. Yeah. I always enjoy in the training. So training a lot of new stuff I can play on the court. That's special thing on the court. Not just every time same, so I can keep fresh and keep going. To take new training with the new trainer, and I go to anywhere to training to Malaysia and Indonesia, something. I keep find a new opponent and new generation, so you have a new style to prepare for new players. So it's fun because it's totally different play. With Linda and Zhongwei, it's different generations. So you need to change. You need to follow the generation. So it's not totally you prepare the same thing. You can play the same performance. So you need to keep change. Now I'm in this age, I can stay on court. I really appreciate it.
Chou Tien Chen will be aiming for his first Yonex US Open title this week, and he's not alone. Dhruv Kapila and Tanisha Crasto are among the top names targeting the Super 300 title. And you can monitor their progress plus other results from Iowa by downloading our BWF app Badminton for you. And as always, let us know your thoughts, comments, and questions on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Have a great week, everyone!